My sweet friends, how are you doing? I hope everyone has had an amazing weekend. I really do mean that. And we're going into a new week here in the stock market. It's going to be an interesting week. This could be particularly a really big week for the market. Things coming out, news is breaking as we're talking here. So let's kind of put all this in a little bit of a box here. As I always say, I don't want to talk forever. And I really don't, but we'll try to just bullet point here what we're going to talk about. So this week, Trump today Trump announced a strategic crypto reserve, including Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and Cardano. I think that was most and we'll know more about that. Then later this week, Trump is doing I think Tuesday, he's doing State of the Union. Then on top of that, later this week, we're having a big meeting in the Oval Office, the White House, essentially, with Trump, billionaires, millionaires, trillionaires, CEOs, all that about crypto and what they want to do with it, who wants to We're going to see. It's going to be a very interesting situation. And then, we have the job reports coming out here, so that could really shift the market even more. It's going to be an interesting week. I think it's going to be a very volatile week. It's going to be up, it's going to be down, up, down, and it is going to be a great week for short traders, day traders, because there's so much volatility that's probably going to consume the week here. So if you're playing that way, you're probably going to have a lot of opportunities to make some fast money. All right, so let's talk about this crypto thing real fast. I mean, this is one of the biggest things we've ever seen in crypto, 100% here. So here's what we know at this point. Bullet points of what we know about this crypto thing. I won't talk about crypto long because I know a lot of people don't mix crypto with stocks, which I think people should, because this is like the opportune time right now for cheap crypto that is going to be very expensive here this year probably. So with that, Trump released today a statement saying he was going to take these cryptos, he said them by name, you don't need any more evidence. He said he's going to take these cryptos and they're going to use them. They're going to use them, these tokens here, for reserves, for the United States reserves. Now, essentially, we're going to know a lot more detail in this, but a U.S. crypto reserve will be a digital asset that's really going to do something here. So it's already driving up these cryptos, but I think it's more like XRP particularly. XRP, obviously it's going to go to a $3, $4 mark. That's probably going to happen. Cardano, same there. But it's what's going to transpire here over the next year, 2 years, 3 years here with what could actually take place with these coins. So like I said, I don't want to say too much more on those, but and there will be that crypto meeting here this week with Trump, big officials. So I imagine, and two, I've been saying this and people have been rejecting this, what I've been saying here, but Trump is having his State of the Union. I don't think they're calling it State of the Union. They're calling it something else, but it's happening here Tuesday. And with that, I do believe that 100%, I think there's plenty of proof to see that now, that Trump is going to say something about crypto. He's going to say something about what they're going to do with it, what he thinks about it. So I would imagine Tuesday, we're going to see another pump in crypto, 100%. If you think XRP, all these coins, everything right now is expensive right now, you just wait till Tuesday. It's probably going to get a lot more expensive going into Wednesday. Okay, so here, getting to some stocks. Let's talk about BigBear. And let's talk about SoundHound in the same, in the same book here. You have BigBear, who has been getting a lot of attention here lately. It's been getting a lot of attention because it's captured some deals. They have a new CEO. What they have is their bread and butter for them as a company is getting a lot of attention, okay? And it's getting tossed around that this is the new little Palantir walking around. And there's argument for that. There's definitely an argument to put there with what BigBear is. And the thing is with BigBear is in this it's in a dangerous situation for either way for investors right now. And here's what I mean by that. BigBear, it's already captured these, if you've been with Palantir and watched the history of Palantir, it is very similar to BigBear right now. I'm not saying BigBear and Palantir, that BigBear is going to have the same run as Palantir, but what I'm saying, there are similarities 2 years ago with what was happening with Palantir and now looking at BigBear. BigBear is in this position right now where, it got these contracts, these government contracts, got the new CEO, has a government background, and now it's in this place, a very high place. It's holding this $5 position here, $6 position on a good day, playing around there. It's going to be interesting to see how it holds this week. But it's a situation, it's a timeline right now for either way, for good and bad with Big Bear. It's a timeline that Big Bear needs to get something else very soon to keep people's attention, to keep it in the zeitgeist, to keep it hot and talked about right now. Or what's going to happen? Big Bear's going to sell off more. People are going to get impatient. People are going to, be like, stock's not doing much. It's going to trickle back down to $4 to maybe a high $3 range, which there's a lot of people, they go, that's okay. I'll take that because I believe that Big Bear is going to have a turnaround year here in 2025. Okay. And then there's this middle line. There's this lingering thing here where this could shift the pendulum either way right now. If Big Bear doesn't get a deal, it could do that. But if it gets a deal, if Big Bear just out of nowhere gets, let's say, another $200, $300, $400 million contract from the United States government, well, then people are in trouble. People are in trouble right then and there. Because why are they in trouble? Because Big Bear is it's gonna be compounding these contracts. It's gonna be compounding earnings, and this is what's really gonna drive up the price in it. Obviously, they're gonna be able to start paying off debt. They're gonna be able to put money in the bank. They're gonna get their name out there a lot more. So, and those are things that we saw in Palantir 2-3 years ago really start to escalate here, where Palantir slowly got these bigger deals, and they just start compounding on each other, and then they just start coming out with bigger and bigger and bigger quarterlies, and then they start getting these other deals that we weren't even aware about, because it's like once a company gets a government contract, it's literally like them holding up a red flag and saying, hey, we're over here, come to us. Palantir just came out not long ago and said that. They said, like, we haven't even, Alex Karp came out and said this, that Palantir hasn't even, they haven't put a single dime into sending out a sales force, essentially, for them to go out and look for deals, look for customers. Everything has come to them. So that's still something they have in their back pocket that they really haven't even pushed. It's the customers coming to them. And you're somewhat probably seeing a little bit of that transfer into Big Bear, and will maybe here in the future. So I really do believe Big Bear, listen, I completely see when somebody comes in here and they say Big Bear it's too risky. They've got too much debt. The debt ratio with earnings, what they're doing, market cap. Friends, I get that. I was saying that, and I'm still saying the same thing. I've been saying that since I've been putting a lot of money into Big Bear. Big Bear is still a risky play, 100%. I will agree with everyone that comes in here and chops me down about Big Bear. I've said that from day one. It's the wild card opportunity with what Big Bear is offering with their bread and butter. It's the wild card opportunity that they could get another contract. It's only going to take one more big contract to really shift the road here with where Big Bear can go. Because like I said, once they start compounding these deals, this is going to bleed into your Q2, Q3 of 2024 very aggressively, to where, Big Bear is going to be able to get in this double digit zone. It's going to be able to get into some pretty significant numbers here. That's why people are buying it right now at these rates. So SoundHound being in this talk too, this is a perfect example right now of SoundHound. What did SoundHound do in 2024? SoundHound was really compounding deals. This is why back the middle of the year last year, I was on a bullhorn on YouTube saying, you need to buy the stock. You need to look at this stock. You need to buy the stock. It's only $2, $3 on a good day. You need to buy the stock. Because what were the breadcrumbs we were watching then? We were watching SoundHound compound deals, more deals than they had ever compound. Even SoundHound was coming out and saying, like, hey, this is the most aggressive year we've ever had, and we suspect 2025 is going to double, triple our sales. And now that SoundHound has come out with this new quarterly where they just made the biggest quarterly they have ever made. I mean, we're like all of Wall Street's going to be talking about that this week. I mean, it's going to be everywhere. People are going to be like, who? What, SoundHound? It's going to be talked about. It is that, this isn't a joke anymore with SoundHound. This is a very real situation where they just executed an amazing quarterly here. So, think about it this way. SoundHound 2 months ago ran up to almost $26. And at that point, the quarterly that we just had come out, this massive quarterly, hadn't even come out to make that happen. So if people are okay with buying SoundHound at $10, $15, $18, $20, $25 more, they're going to be perfectly okay buying SoundHound at those prices right now when they just executed a phenomenal quarter. So don't kid yourself that SoundHound could get very expensive here very fast here. And if they execute this year, continue on this 5-10% road that they're doing right now with quarterlies, this is going to be the dark horse that I've been preaching about since last year, and then people have been talking junk about. It's happening. So, and I say that to be proud about yourself. Be happy with, believing in SoundHound. Be happy that you watched all of these deals come in, all this evidence where we knew like something's going to happen here. 100%. We know something's happening here. And now we're just seeing the fruits of, that happen here where SoundHound is 100% going into this new level of what could be. So friends, BigBear and SoundHound, these are my two wild cards of 2025, 100%, where, the end of the year, maybe let's say a year from now, next March, when we look at BigBear and we look at SoundHound, what are the possibilities of these being a lot more expensive, being triple the price where they're at right now, even double, okay, to where they are making, massive more quarterlies than what they're making right now. And two, you have to think about this. There's not a lot of people talking openly. Like, here's one thing that you'll see on YouTube, okay? Bigger channels, they will not, and I'm not saying this as like a mean thing, like, because I get why bigger channels don't do this, but bigger channels on YouTube, they won't talk about stocks like this most of the time because they know it's too risky and they know there's too many people watching. So for me to talk about BigBear, for me to talk about SoundHound, where maybe I get like 3,000 to 4,000, 5,000 views per video, which I'm very grateful for, it's not that big of a deal. And most people that are looking at BigBear and SoundHound, they go, this guy's a moron. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, for people that have been following me, been following SoundHound, we were talking about SoundHound 6 months ago when it was getting better quarterlies, getting these deals, talking about BigBear 3 months ago when it was getting in this, it had captured a deal back, a few months ago. Now it's captured these next two deals and now it has a new CD. So this is investing. Being an investor, there's most of it from what I've found, and that's made me very successful with just my own investing road, is following clues, evidence, breadcrumbs. What are companies doing? What's their debt ratio? What are their quarterlies? How big are their quarterlies getting at each quarterly? How many deals are they acquiring, within, a time frame from quarterly to quarterly? These are things that anyone can look up. Absolutely can look up, okay? Just because a stock is $2-3, it doesn't mean it's a terrible company. It doesn't mean that it's just a crap company. Just because Palantir's sold back down to $80, it doesn't mean that Palantir's a terrible company and it's going downhill. That's not investing. That's not a stock chart. That's just the fluctuation of a movement, okay? So with that, with BigBear being at this price range, $5, and 3 weeks ago it was almost at $11, and now we're back down to $5, still people made profit in there, okay? And now it's back in opportunity zone. SoundHound back at $10. I mean, to me, SoundHound is still very expensive because I was used to buying SoundHound at $2-3. Okay, and now SoundHound's at this almost $11 range on a good day. So, friends, I just think you should be excited about these. Absolutely 100% excited. These are gold nuggets in the hillside that you need to chip out. Instead of walking past them and going towards, other things that are a lot more, the bigger nuggets that, like the Metas, the Teslas. These right here might be a lot more capable of getting and putting in your pocket. 100% mining out the hill here. BigBear, SoundHound. I still think, BigBear, obviously, we're going to see if it can hold $5 this week. BigBear still got some stuff it needs to prove. SoundHound, they're killing it, man. This is what you want from a company. 100%. This is what you want. I don't know how much more proof people need at this point. All right, the last thing I want to talk about here is AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. So obviously a phenomenal company, a phenomenal stock. And, a lot of people ask me about this stock. Do I invest in it? Should I invest in it? What is it, for the future? I think if you're going to get in the stock, it's probably this is the time. I think this is really probably the time to make a position in the stock because this stuff right here with what, even NVIDIA, and what Advanced Micro offers here. Obviously, here's the thing in a nutshell. NVIDIA has a chip. And both their chips are very similar, and some people will even say that Advanced Micro has a better chip. You know, there's obviously an argument in there. I'm not here to argue about the chips, video game, stuff like that. What I am saying is that we know that NVIDIA's chip is a little more expensive, okay? Well, that's good for NVIDIA because they're making a little more money. Well, you know, AMD here it's getting a lot of business, okay? And it's there's more meat on the bone here, I think, for investors when it comes to them. So NVIDIA is in this place right now where NVIDIA has a great chip, great product, very well known. Their product is a little more money. Some may care, some may not care. They may continue on a streak of high business. NVIDIA is making so much money right now, it leaves people to wonder, is it going to plateau at any moment this year? Are they going to keep beating quarterlies? Which is very possible, it could. But there will come a place in time here, whether it's this year, middle of this year, next year, where NVIDIA just goes, they come out with a great quarterly, but they just meet. They just meet expectations. Now, what's that going to do? It's going to drive fear into NVIDIA investors, okay? Because they're going to go like, well, that's it? That's it? More than likely, that's probably what's going to happen. Now, when is that coming? We don't know. But it's coming somewhere in the future. I would imagine that's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that the company's over. It just means like, hey, there's a moment of clarity, okay? Now, with AMD here, Advanced Micro, is the fact that this stock is sold off aggressively. They're still making great money. They're beating every quarterly, essentially, at this point. They're getting into a range where they could be in the $8, $9, $10 billion quarterly zone here this year. And what they offer, the chip market is it's picking up once again. I think a lot of us thought that, and we're seeing this divide right now in the market where, chip stocks are still moving aggressively, but they're not moving as aggressively as we thought they were going to. I think the focus has shifted more, I think, with investors right now, with things like Palantir, software-driven companies, even things like BigBear, SoundHound, things like that, where there's more software-driven. We're seeing a lot of those companies really get a lot more focus. In the chip situation here, it's still running on full steam. I mean, you're about to see, all this new stuff happen here. We're even talking about they're talking about all these new game systems and all that kind of stuff. So I have no doubt that if you're buying Advanced Micro for the future, for a heavy hand into the future, you're going to do well, okay? But obviously this is an expensive stock. Whether you're able to hold 1, 2, 3 shares, 100 shares, it's going to cost you 100%. So it's obviously for a different kind of investor. But obviously, if you're wanting, to me, I look at this as something that you're going to grow your money in. There may be things that grow faster, I don't know, but it's really going to depend on, too. Advanced Micro has been doing great with new deals, moving ahead, and we're going to see what this new quarterly here for Q1 of 2025 brings to the table, and that's really going to be a telltale sign of how 2025 is going to work here. So, listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with investing in that stock. I think it's going to have a phenomenal year. There's no indication that they are going to lack here in 2025 at this point. It's completely the opposite spin on what is going on with that company right now. So, friends, listen, I wish all of you best of luck. I really do mean that. I think we are in great opportunity zone to make a lot of money. Make a lot of money this year, make a lot of money this week, and take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.